This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
And that is how Sam Darnold won himself his first Super Bowl. It's exactly how it happened. Has this not been airing the last 2 weeks? I haven't stopped talking about it. It is a Monday morning. Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. Gil Alexander back in the fold. Triumphant return.
That's right, man.
I don't know many returns that aren't triumphant, but this one is.
I'm pretty sure I said that in the promo on Friday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Kelly Midland, everybody. Can we just shout out Matt Brown right off the top? Matt Brown, fantastico. The man is fantastic. 2 weeks in with you. I imagine you guys had a gay old time when you were here.
Oh, yeah.
The last 2 weeks.
Always. On the next numbers game, Gil Alexander makes his triumphant return from vacation. There you go. That aired all weekend.
Triumphant return. Good to be back. Matt is awesome as always. Thanks to him for being in this chair for the last 2 weeks and holding down the fort. What other cliches could I use on there? But he's awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody recognizes, gives him his propers on that. Today on the show, and I know you guys have you two probably discussed this at some level over the last 2 weeks. But we're going to talk tanking for a guy. No one loves tanking more than I do. 8 years ago, we had the whole NBA tankathon thing that went down. Took incoming back then, Kelly. People are like, what are you talking about? Teams tanking. Now people will act like that didn't happen. But it was a very innovative sort of thought at that time.
Now everybody in the league's head's on fire over it.
That's correct. 8 years later, we're going to talk about NBA tanking teams. I will give you my tiers of the 11 worst teams in the NBA, where I think they are in terms of trustworthiness. And by trustworthiness, I'm talking about bizarro trustworthiness, meaning trustworthiness to lose. Because we want to start brain-dead parlays, which we did 8 years ago to much success. We're going to start doing that again here on the show. Although there isn't really an opportunity with tonight's slate. There's only 3 games, and one of them involves 2 tanking teams against each other. But we will probably start that in earnest tomorrow. But we'll go through the tiers, and by the way, this is just my opinion. Feel free to disagree on the tiers as well.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah.
I think it is such a thing. I don't think it's ever been more of a thing this year. I can't stop talking about it, Gil. I mean, you were out for 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks of me basically in charge. You don't think we beat NBA to death, but this is. I want to hear your thoughts on it, and I think that I think each team is a little bit individual, so I think that's where it's going to be very curious to go through each one of them.
We'll do a little history on it. We'll do a whole thing. Championship formula by popular demand. Our second iteration of the NCAA championship formula. We did one. Danny and I did one. I think when you were out, we did a NCAA championship formula 1.0 in. I think it was the couple weeks before the Super Bowl. We did it. So this will be the second installment of that. I can tell you that 6 teams currently qualify. We will tell you about the 7th and the 8th and the 9th. They're just on the outside looking in again. Tried and true over multiple decades, from which the champion ultimately comes in college basketball. So if you're thinking, this team has a chance, maybe this team has a chance, this kind of eliminates a bunch of squads. We'll go through that here momentarily. Wes Reynolds will join us later with his college basketball plays tonight. We've got another Monday night game in Kansas tonight. Get his thoughts on that. And what of Darren Peterson? What do we make of Darren Peterson at this point?
Okay,
would you take him number 1?
That, Gil, is my favorite topic in all of sports
really?
Right now. Yes. It's not the NFL draft.
Yeah.
It's not NBA tanking teams. It's the NBA draft and Darren Peterson.
It's an interesting conundrum with that kid.
Yep.
Adam Burke as well will join us. We will do that. We will we'll have some tennis picks coming up on the show. I guess I can give away the tennis plays. By the way, the week after the Super Bowl, I had a terrible tennis week right after the Super Bowl. Sort of righted the ship a little this past week. But here we go. We got two plays today. This is later on. These are both on the ladies' side. These are not 2 names that you've probably been familiar with over the years.
Oh boy, I haven't seen either one of these.
Whitney Oswigwe is that's going to be in Austin, Texas. She's plus 120 versus Elizabeth Mandlik. That's going out to subscribers as well today on the show. These are all outdoor hardcore. Whitney Oswigwe plus 120 versus Elizabeth Mandlik. And this next one is in Mérida in Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula. This is just west of Cancun. So we're hoping that both the men's side in Acapulco and the women's side in Mérida can go unscathed with all that's going on in Mexico after yesterday. But I am on Emiliana Arango plus 290 versus Anastasia Potapova. Arango has not been playing well lately, but this is her tournament. She plays very well here. Got to the finals, I believe, last year. Plus 290 versus Anastasia Potapova. So Oswego in Austin, Arango in Merida in Mexico.
Did you get up to the Delray Beach Open at all?
I did not. I thought about it many times.
Did you actually? Did you actually get semi-close?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're being real.
It never got to the point of. But then I did get an incoming. You didn't tell me Leonard Chien was playing. I got that from Deborah Song Fashion Stylist. So that was a fail
I didn't know
on my
Lerner
part.
was that big of a draw.
No, apparently he's big in the house. Let's put it that way. It's very big.
And Miami was awesome as usual. I'm guessing.
Dude, I just don't get me started.
So as soon as you were gone too, it just got cold like a week ago, and you're like, "Oh, great!"
I do that on purpose. I'm like, okay, now turn on the Jets, and then I bounce. That's what I do. Okay, the biggest story. By the way, we'll get to all that. Adam Burke, as I mentioned, is coming up later as well. We'll talk some MLB awards. Just a couple little shot at MVP and Cy Young. I have a couple thoughts on MVP that I want to share. The Winter Olympics, and I didn't watch much of the Winter Olympics, but I, like every other human being, certainly watched the United States win the gold medal in hockey yesterday on the men's side with an overtime golden goal winner over Canada, the U.S.'s arch rivals. U.S. winning the gold for the first time in 46 years, famously for the first time since the Miracle on Ice in 1980. The third period is all, in case you missed, the third period was just electric. A 1-1 game, and Connor Hellebuyck with two just amazing saves early. Yeah. One on Devin Taves, which reminded those of us who are Washington Capitals fans very much of Braden Holtby's stick save in Game 2 of the 2018 Stanley Cup Finals when the Caps were down 1-0 against the Golden Knights, but they were nursing a 1-goal lead with 2 minutes left, and Holtby made the greatest save in Capitals history. And that save by Hellebuyck yesterday was just like that one on Taves, and that was awesome. Then Macklin Celebrini had a point-blank range shot, which Hellebuyck turned away as well. And it goes to, by the way, that was Alex Tuck, I believe, for the Golden Knights, who had that shot on Braden Holtby, just to be thorough about it. And then OT happens, and Kelly, I just want to, I'm hearing a lot of this, since the game yesterday, because Canada was complaining about the format of it. And I think we can hold two thoughts in our heads at the same time, that two things can be true. One, he's kind of right? You go, the reason, so the NHL 10 years ago went to a 3-on-3 overtime during the regular season.
It was that long ago at this point?
It was like 2015, 2016. Because they wanted to...
I would have guessed 4 years ago.
In the same way that baseball didn't want to go 18 innings in a game, right? They were like, okay, let's end this quick. So we don't have to play these long hockey games. We don't want as many ties, and we don't want as many shootouts. We don't want as many penalty shots. So they went to the 3-on-3, and that's great for an NHL game in December and January. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals, they don't do that.
Yep.
Right? So, to determine the gold medal on such a thing is kind of lame on the one hand. And on the other hand, it is true. Everybody knows the rules. Those are the rules, and so there you go. But I do allow for complaining on that. Like, I think people who push back, you knew the rules, you're going to do it, we want it fair and square. It is kind of a lame way to win it.
So I actually have strong feelings about this, which I never really thought I would, right? With Olympic hockey, way to steal the attention, especially the past week, right? How many overtime games involving the men's and women's team? It was crazy. 12 golds final for the United States. Let me just check. That is under 12 and a half.
It's just under 12 and a half.
Someone give me a list of who's most to blame. I heard curling was on there. So we'll figure that one out.
I think Chris Valico on tech said, we lost a lot of ones we should have won.
That's what. Well, it was. Drew. We finally had back on last week, and he was like, "This is dead. There's no way." And then they picked up some steam, winning a couple, and then dropped some. But the hockey. First of all, I don't think you need to be a hockey expert to watch. Like I watched almost all that game. I set my alarm for 5:30, and then I was like, "Dude, snooze!" And I heard my neighbor screaming so loud at 5:30 in the morning, "USA, USA!" I'm like, "All right, I guess I'm up." Never heard from the guy in like 6 years. Never heard a peep out of that place. He was screaming USA. So that was fun. It was great watching this game. Felt like Canada was the better team for 90% of the game to me, but it is what it is. You got to get pucks in the net. Go to overtime. People have been screaming about this overtime.
As I believe, who said it? I think Nathan McKinnon said that after the game. He said, you determine who the better team was.
Which is kind of a weird thing to say when you lost, but whatever. Yeah. The overtime thing, Gil, the two thoughts. Two thoughts, right? I know I'm going to get some incoming on this. Two thoughts. If we're going to decide the biggest games, we should decide it with the same format that you use for the regular game, right? So therefore, the overtime should be 5-on-5. 3-on-3 hockey is way more entertaining. way more entertaining.
Well,
Gil.
all it took was Cale Makar to try to steal the puck for a 2-on-nothing, right? Mm-hmm. He misses that, and then it's a 3-on-1, and Jack Hughes, you're on the leaflet forever, baby.
Dude, you just get, like, the individual skill gets showed off so much more. There's not, like, wacky, clunky rebound goals and, like, ricochets.
Let's determine the Super Bowl on a 7-on-7. You know, if we go to overtime in a Super Bowl, let's just go 7-on-7.
I'll go 2-on-2 in NBA, though, for during the regular season.
Put it this way. Let's say the Miracle on Ice in 1980 was won on a golden goal 3-on-3. How would we feel? Would we feel as patriotic? Would we? I guess we would have at the time.
We probably would, because we'd be like, those were the rules.
But the memory of it would be a little sullied, right? We'd be like,
okay, Gil, this is the two thoughts thing, though, right? I think it's absurd to go to overtime out of a normal format and decide a game that big that way, but it's just fun. It is fun. It is fun. Gold medal. We don't care. USA, baby. Yeah. That's all we can. And just, again, Jack Hughes with the golden goal. Yesterday, his brother Quinn Hughes with the same in the quarterfinals. Was just tremendous. Johnny Gaudreau being memorialized with his jersey being skated around the rink. His daughter Noah there. It was a beautiful thing. Mike Tirico, can we give Mike Tirico a shout out? How unbelievable he was. He's awesome. In synopsizing everything, and not an overbearing way, but just with a perfect touch on everything. And then the dumbest thing that continues to happen in the Olympics. Gil, here's your gold medal. Congratulations. Here's a stuffed animal from this year's Olympics. Congratulations. Well, Jack Hughes, if only our people were dentists, maybe someone could help you out with that. Yeah. He don't care. He didn't care. He don't care. College basketball formula 2.0 next. Numbers game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
There is no other college basketball betting analyst quite like him. His passion is unparalleled. He handicaps every game, every day, all season long. Sleep is not an option for him. He stays fresh by running 12 miles a day, every day, while doing his podcast and answering your tweets. He is Greg Hoops Peterson.
Tame the madness of March by catching Greg Peterson on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
What's up, folks? You're not going to want to miss Money Moves on Monday. We've got a lot to get to. Mitch Lawrence from SiriusXM NBA is going to join us as we look ahead to the home stretch in the association's regular season. We've also got college basketball. The bracketology is updated. The weekend is in the books. Who improved their status to get to the NCAA tournament? And our play ball series continues. The AL Central is the spot as the Minnesota Twins are up on deck. So don't miss it. It's Money Moves, 11-1 Pacific, 2-4 Eastern on the only spot, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Get ready to win a larger-than-life World Soccer Championship experience only at Circa Resort Casino in Las Vegas. One lucky winner scores a two-night stay at Circa. VIP cabana for the games and stadium swim with $500 in credit plus $250 in food and beverage. Arrive in style with limo transportation and celebrate with cocktails at Legacy Club. Enter now and kick off the World Soccer Championship at Circa Resort Casino. For giveaway details, visit circalasvegas.com. You said Stormy agrees with me off air? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I don't think she was very happy about me saying I liked the 3-on-3 hockey last week.
Yeah.
Matt did too, though, so it was at least both of us.
No.
I enjoy it.
No, you can. Imagine, again, you want ghost runners to determine the World Series? Same thing.
No, I said that, though. I said they shouldn't do it to determine these big games. I like it, though. Just like I like watching 2-on-2 basketball.
Oh, I got more to talk about later on the show, which I didn't mention. I got to talk about Love is Blind. Want to cast the net?
What? How many seasons are we into that one?
10, I want to say.
10?
Something like that.
Wait, is this the one that they were like, they don't take a break? They just keep going? Or they do it every night or whatever?
No. That's Love Island.
That's Love Island. Okay.
Come on, Kelly. Know your love.
Sorry.
Love is Blind. I must talk about it because it is bettable at Kalshi. Though I don't have any bets, I just think it's worth talking about. And my review of America's Next Top Model documentary.
That's pretty big.
Which I used to bet on. We used to bet on the most heavily attended meeting at Clear Channel San Francisco in the mid-aughts was our America's Next Top Model betting pool. I might have had something to do with organizing that.
That's awesome. I did get absolutely addicted with a Survivor Bachelor Survivor pool one year that was like...
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Like by the next year, I wasn't even like with the same girl. I was like, hey guys, we still doing this? Like, could I get in on this? Like, come on.
We did it. We did multiple cycles on America's Next Top Model. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want me to finish what I was telling you in the break?
Yes, please.
The biggest story in the NBA for me and you.
Oh, jeez.
Denny Avdia, bro. We had yellow flags up, and this is big time red flags now. Denny played 1 minute last night before he had to exit the game with the back injury that he's now missed 10 of the last 17 games for. He can miss 6 more games before he qualify for awards. Most improved player just flipped on its head last night.
We're not allowed to have good things. Jack Hughes, everybody's happy, and then Denny Avdia, we're like, back to where we were.
Dude.
Do you know what I mean?
I know. It's brutal.
Can I just say this? The best idea, so most improved player, by the way, in the NBA, Jalen Johnson now, the favorite, Denny Avdia, falling.
And look, he's going to get the back checked out. Nothing's determined with that yet, but this has been, we were talking about before you left, right? The in and out with the back. Is this going to be a thing? And then you kind of look at where they are in the standings. They're not really going to move much from their play-in spot. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses too much time.
Most innovative, politically incorrect idea I heard over vacation. This is before the NBA All-Star Game was played. Innovative, politically incorrect idea. It's not my idea. I'm just passing it on because I thought it was very clever from Nick Wright at Fox Sports.
Oh, heard it.
You heard it? Do you guys talk about it at all? No. Yeah, they don't have the onions I do to bring it up. But he said, and I love the way he couched it at the beginning. He goes, if Con Kneppel gets better, if Con Kneppel continues to improve, he's like, white guys versus black guys. That's what he said. Because you figure out, you get Jokic, Doncic, Avdia, Flag, Knepp. All of a sudden, you got a ball game.
I don't really know. If we're doing that, though, I still think the international versus USA thing works. Just like everybody on the international team was hurt at the same damn time.
Good on Nick Wright.
It was pretty funny.
Just put it forward. Pretty funny. We get tweets meeting the book. James at Canuck37 would love your opinion on this market. I apologize if you haven't. I missed it. Oh, this is about first. So this is they're putting up regular season race to 10 home runs. Aaron Judge, the short shot at plus 575. Nick Kurtz 10-1. That's my guy. There's my answer to that question. Boom. Because you're going to have a few games in Sacramento at Sutter Park. Was it Sutter Health Park? Pardon me. Which is a launching pad. It's not really a launching pad. It's the fact that it's no foul ground and then the wind isn't blocked by 2 tiers of stands. So the ball just goes. And then he plays at Yankee Stadium. He plays in Atlanta. Those are big home run parks as well. Stu Magoo. Actually, not Atlanta. Toronto. Pardon me. So I would go Nick Kurtz on that. Stu Magoo has a bet here. I'm not really sure what he has here, so I'll skip on that one. Sorry. Couldn't really see that one. This is from, Norm in Vegas, talking about people are now gambling millions on snowstorms using prediction markets to bet exactly how much snow will fall. That's why I want to talk about Love is Blind a little later on the show. Reed Wilson, welcome back, Gil. Now on to the tennis picks. There you go. John Balducci, hope you got those. John Balducci, we all thought skipping bowl games to get ready for NFL draft was a crazy concept a decade ago. Actually, did we, though? I never did. He said, is Peterson just the first college hoops player showing us that load management will be commonplace in college hoops soon? Boy, I hope not. Not during a regular season, I hope not.
I mean, I don't think you could call it load management what's going on with it, right?
He's kind of self-load managing, it feels like.
But like that self-load. Like this load management comes from the team, right. I would say.
Not from the player.
Not from this guy being like, here's 20 in the first half, coach. I'm sitting out the rest of the time.
Dave Sager, not happy about the rampant use of the phrase Twitter machine while I was gone. Jason H11. Dave, I'll crack down on that usage. Jason H11.
I'm so used to Matt saying these things, I don't even think about it.
Jason H11, 10 minutes in, an epic fail not having Kelly try to pronounce those tennis plays. Oh, by the way, welcome back, Gilly. Yeah, no, you're right. I blew it already. I'd get to more of these, but we got to do the formula. Let's do it. Formula. College basketball formula 2.0. Here, once again, tried and true over the decades are the 6 criteria. Criterion is the plural?
Ooh, criterion. I think you're right.
Yeah. Last 35 champs had more assists than turnovers. Okay, that makes sense. 3.5 decades, more assists than turnovers. 32 of the last 35 had a head coach with Sweet 16 experience. Now, this is the one that has taken a knock over the last few years, because before, the only exception was Kevin Ollie of the UConn Huskies 2014. But remember, Danny Hurley with Duke. Excuse me, Danny Hurley with Duke. That's his brother playing basketball. Danny Hurley with UConn 3 seasons ago, right? And then last season, Todd Golden of Florida. So that's the one that's sort of on life support a little bit. That stipulation right there. 2023 UConn, 2025 Florida. 29 of the last 30 champs went to the tournament with at least 3 wins versus teams in the top 10% of RPI. The only exception there being, of course, the 2014 UConn Huskies. They're the exception to everything. Last 30 champs had a top 75 strength of schedule. And then the last 2 are the Ken Pom stipulations, Kelly. 22 of the last 23 champs, top 20 adjusted offensive efficiency at Ken Pom. The only exception to that, the 2014 UConn Huskies. And then the 22 of the last 23 champs were top 20 adjusted defensive efficiency. The only exception to that was actually the only exception to the exception, not the UConn Huskies of 2014, but the Baylor Bears in 2021.
I like that we do that one last. I always forget it's Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor had a little thing in there.
That's an interesting criterion for the criteria. We had it the opposite.
We did. I was correct the first time. Okay, I was right the first time. Okay. How do you want to do this? Do you want to do the teams that are, well, we can put them all on the board at the same time. All right. Vanderbilt is in its own category. We've added a category because of the Danny Hurley / Todd Golden Sweet 16 busting results 2 out of the last 3 years. Vanderbilt would be in. They would be in were it not for the fact that Mark Byington has never coached in the Sweet 16. No Sweet 16 at the College of Charleston, none at Georgia Southern, none at James Madison, none in his one season at Vandy. So the only thing eliminating Vandy from currently qualifying is, again, that Mark Byington has not coached in the Sweet 16 before. And again, you may choose to overlook that given what's happened 2 out of the last 3 years. Now, on the outside looking in, and these are actually done sort of in order, Gonzaga's the closest. They're 22nd in adjusted offensive efficiency over at Ken Pom. That's the only thing keeping them out. 11th in adjusted defensive efficiency. So only Gonzaga, by the way, they always teeter in strength of schedule because of the West Coast Conference, but that's the only thing keeping them out. UConn is right behind them. UConn is 23rd in adjusted offensive efficiency at Ken Pom. That's the only thing keeping them out. Purdue, 25th in adjusted defensive efficiency. Illinois, first in adjusted offensive efficiency in the nation, but 30th on the defensive side. And Texas Tech, 27th on the defensive side, 14th offense. So those 5 clubs, those 5 squads, just on the outside looking in, Gonzaga and UConn being the closest. The 6 that currently, and by the way, the first time we did this, Kelly, 7 qualified. Gonzaga was the 7th. The 6 that qualified in February when Danny and I did this, and that currently qualify again. And this won't surprise anybody. Well, one of them or 2 of them might at the bottom. Michigan, no surprise. 5th and 1st, adjusted offense and defense at Ken Pom. Arizona, 9th and 2nd, although there is the Tommy Lloyd factor, as some will be screaming at their radios right now. Duke, 7th and 3rd, adjusted offense and defense. Iowa State, don't sleep on the Cyclones, 17th and 8th, adjusted offense and defense at Ken Pom. They qualify for everything else. And then these last 2, it's interesting. Houston, a lot of people are gonna smell a rat here with Houston. A lot of people don't buy into this version of the Houston Cougars. They are 10th and 7th, though, respectively, adjusted offense and defense at KenPom. They do qualify, but I can hear Todd Wishnev's voice in my ear going like, no way, no chance for Houston. And then there's Florida. Florida qualifies again, the defending national champions, 16th adjusted offense, 4th adjusted defense. When Danny and I first did the first iteration of this about a month ago, and then I went and played tennis with Parles, he was like, no way, Florida. But here they are.
It has been the hottest national championship bet pick I've heard in the past 3-4 weeks.
Trying to go back-to-back like they did almost 2 decades ago. Coming back. Tanking. Let's talk about it. Oh, I love it. Next.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
College hoops season heating up. Best betting stretch of the year right around the corner. Right now, VSiN's offering our Hoops Mania Special. Get VSiN Pro access from now through May 1st for just $29.99. With VSiN Pro, you'll get daily best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, real-time DraftKings and Circuit betting splits, AI-powered prop tools and matchup analysis, 24/7 video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus our March Mania betting guide, including team profiles for every tournament team, key trends for each round, expert bracket and future strategies, and best bets from VSiN's top analysts. If you're betting the tournament, it's a must. Sign up today at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. By the way, some other college basketball teams I just wanted to mention that did not qualify, for those who are wondering, hey, what about this team? What about that team? Virginia also, by the way, doesn't have a coach that is coaching the Sweet 16. Not that they qualify on the other stuff either, but Ryan Odom hasn't coaching the Sweet 16.
What is the offense falling behind again, Gil?
The offense has fallen short of the top 20, yes. Louisville, another one. Pat Kelsey never coached the Sweet 16. Ryan Odom never did at Virginia. But Louisville has fallen behind in defense anyway. And then other teams like the BYUs and the Michigan. Like, so BYU, terrible on D. Not terrible, but like not good enough on D. Michigan State, not nearly good enough on offense. Nebraska, not nearly good enough on offense. Kansas, not nearly good enough on offense.
I bet them.
Bam. Kelly bet them. Bama, traditionally, keeping their brand alive, not nearly as good on defense as they need to be. And St. John's not good enough on offense. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback from everybody. This is from Montas Stankievicius. The boys are back. No shade to Matt. We love Matt. That's my guy. Maybe we should just do all three once in a while. Jason Age 11, the quad guy figure skater totally choked and cost us a gimme gold, as did the American trader snowboarder that participated for China and won gold. Hey, Jason, relax with the politics.
See, I'm a little surprised at the, kind of like you said, top of the show.
Yeah.
Olympics come around. Going to see what Dinzik's betting. I might get locked into some random things, right? Like the aerials are crazy and some of these events are just nuts. As you say, the drunken dares, right? They're fun to watch. Some of this though, the Eileen Gu, like this happened last Olympics. That's an old story. I don't really get that one. The quad god, Jason figured it out. The quad god. How much did we hear about this guy coming into the Olympics?
Jason is right about Eileen though. She wasn't very likable in the interviews. That's for sure. Colin Murphy, welcome back. Agreed, Tirico was awesome, but let's not forget about Eddie O. Eddie O, yes. Eddie Olczyk was so good. Best color commentator, regardless of sport, in my eyes. He's fabulous. He really is. Really great.
Quad God, he's doing backflips when it doesn't even matter, Gil.
I'm glad you're getting over
Got
it.
Fourth place.
Bruce Dobig had jumped on Canada to win in regulation when it was 1-0 after one period, plus 430. That and Rory playing with his food in L.A. made it a sad sweat. John Massey, Criterion is the singular, Criteria plural, thank you. And Judd O'Connor, just wait until Darren Peterson plays 36 minutes in all the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament, every game. Then all the big media talking heads will call him a genius. Yeah, you might be right about that, man. You might be right.
Oh, man. I don't know. I hope so.
Let's talk about tanking. Oh, man, do I love this. So, again, 8 years ago, this was 2018, on a numbers game. For those who remember, we had big opens, big graphics about Tankathon 2018. That was the old NBA lottery rules. If you were the worst team in the NBA, you ended up with 25% of the ping pong balls, a 1-in-4 chance of getting the number one pick in the draft. And the Phoenix Suns, and we tracked every team, the Phoenix Suns lost their last 27 games that year against non-tanking teams. Devin Booker would have a mysterious hand injury, that kind of thing. It was just all shady. And anyway, they ended up drafting DeAndre. They ended up getting the number one pick. They ended up drafting DeAndre Ayton. They got to the NBA Finals with Ayton. Didn't win it, but you get the idea. It was the big last tank under those rules. Now, had David Stern been commissioner back then, right? He, a living, breathing commissioner, and the greatest commissioner, some would say, of all time, he would have said something like, with his smile, you know how he would deal with things. He'd be like, We'll deal with the teams properly, and we'll put in some rules that will change this, I promise you. But not with Adam Silver. He couldn't care less. He didn't do a darn thing all this time, except for then, right? The one change they made is they decided, okay, let's go to the worst three teams get 14% of the ping pong balls. Well, Kelly, you would think, hey, maybe this would help things. Instead, it invited more teams to the party, is what it basically did. And so you have all these teams tanking in a situation where, again, this was Adam Silver last week fined the Jazz $500,000, the Pacers $100,000 in an attempt to crack down on those on tanking issues ahead of the All-Star break. He said, overt behavior like this that prioritizes draft position over winning undermines the foundation of NBA competition and will respond accordingly to any further actions that compromise the integrity of our games. This, of course, 8 years later, Kelly.
Yeah.
He says, additionally, we're working with our competition committee and board of governors to implement further measures to root out this type of conduct. Of course, he can't do anything about any of it this year, but some of the proposed concepts to curb tanking, by the way, first-round draft picks can be protected only for top 4 or top 14 selections, top 14-plus selections. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. Some said March 1st, right? Some say when you get eliminated, then all of a sudden you're incentivized to win. They can do it that way. No longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 in consecutive years or consecutive bottom 3 finishes. Teams can't pick in the top 4 the year after making the finals in the conference. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Lottery extended include all play-in teams. Flatten odds for all lottery teams. This, that, the other thing. By the way, some other ones. The gold plan. Have you heard about this one? No. Which I mentioned after a record, after you're eliminated, then you're incentivized to win. The lottery wheel. There's this thing.
Oh, yeah, I've heard the lottery wheel.
By the way, I suggested that 8 years ago on the show, and I remember my oldest friend came into town to meet Brent. He was so excited to meet Brent, and Brent says to him, he goes, tell your friend not to do that cockamamie idea of the lottery wheel anymore. Anyway, so there's all the lottery wheel, meaning you just rotate, right? Third pick this year, second pick next year, first pick the next year, back to 30th.
Yeah.
Anyway, none of this can happen for this year because, in my opinion, Silver's been asleep at the wheel.
Even real quick, Gil, the proposed concepts we just flashed up. Yes, so, you can poke holes in all of them. Some of them are just straight up contradictory to each other.
100%.
I mean, the ones of the consecutive years. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Okay, do you want that to figure out who the consistent bad teams are, or do you want to go up 2 bullet points more and go no longer allowing a team to pick the top 4 in consecutive years?
Yeah. And so, I mean, by the way, in addition to changing those rules back for the 2019 season, where it went to, instead of one team getting 25%, the worst 3 teams getting 14% each, the number 10 team in the draft lottery would have a measly 4% chance at a top 4 pick, but those odds more than tripled to as much as 14% in the new model, and the odds of actually winning the lottery, if you were, say, the 10th team, also tripled. So they might have solved it for the worst team, but they made it better for the teams that are a little lesser, if you will. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then there's the recency bias, right? So these are all the confluence of events that are having this perfect storm. The other thing is we have the recency bias of 2 years ago. The Hawks get the number 1 pick with the 11th worst record. They get Risa Shea. That hasn't worked out so well, despite his good second half last year. Kind of meh this year again. And then last year, of course, famously, the Mavericks with the 10th pick. They get the number 1 pick. They get Cooper Flagg, big prize. And, of course, the third thing of all this, where it's all, the confluence into one thing is, this draft is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? It's Cameron Boozer, it's Darren Peterson, it's A.J. DeBonsa, it's Caleb Wilson, and a whole bunch of other folks at the top of this draft. And next year's draft and the one afterwards, there's no obvious top prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like it's worth tanking for next year. No obvious prospect in 2028. So this is just everybody gunning for it.
I mean, this year the talent is clear, right? The next couple years, the only thing I feel like we've jumped too far with the 2 years out. Like it is.
We don't know.
We don't know that much. It is amazing how people have thrown that out casually. I think it's worth mentioning.
But to your point, this is a team by team basis sort of thing. So we're just going to take the worst 11 teams. We'll do and I just want to put them in 4 categories. One is of the worst 11 teams, to me, not trustworthy at all. Trustworthy meaning to lose, because what we want to do is do these brain-dead parlays that were so successful 8 years ago. We're going to track these. Maybe it will be as successful, maybe it won't. Somewhat trustworthy though not against other tanking teams, and then extremely trustworthy. To lose. Let's just take the not trustworthy at all before the break here, Kelly. One is the Pelicans. The reason the Pelicans are not trustworthy is because they have no incentive. They have no incentive to lose, period. Because their pick is conveyed to the Atlanta Hawks. That happened last year. They traded their unprotected 2026 first rounder to Atlanta to move up to select Derek Queen.
Hope that works out.
Yeah. So the Pelicans, they can play willy-nilly to win games because it doesn't matter for them. It's not their pick. Meanwhile, the Hawks, by the way, side note, sitting pretty just like, yeah, keep losing, Pelicans.
That was the easiest trade of all time.
Hornets, who are 27-31, too good to tank. They shouldn't be on this list at all. 27-31, Kelly's race to 30 in full effect, almost there. So to me, they're not trustworthy at all because they're actually good at basketball. And the other one that to me is not trustworthy at all is the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks have won 6 of their last 8 games without Giannis. And
we have no idea how they're going to treat Giannis.
And when Giannis gets back, there is no chance to me that Giannis is going to let them lose basketball games. He's going to be like, no, we try to win championships.
I mean, Hornets, Bucks could be second, third round playoff teams in the Eastern Conference.
So I don't trust any of those 3, Pelicans, Hornets, and Bucks. We'll get to the ones that we somewhat trust and fully trust in NBA Tankathon 2026. Let's do it next on A Numbers Game at VSiN.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Prop Points takes you to the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports with hosts Jeff Erickson and Nick Whalen of RotoWire.
He's the one that's the trendiest. He's the one that's going the earliest of the 3, and in some leagues I've seen him go as early as the 2nd round.
The one thing that stood out to me here is, value-wise, I would take a look at Dorian Finney-Smith over 2.5 boards.
They'll help you find the connection between the two and give you expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on the Numbers Game, live from Circle Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidler. We get tweets, meeting the book. This is from The Razor. Hey, guys, any tennis today? Nothing posted on the VSiN sheet yet. Just didn't want to miss out. Thanks, as always. Gave out 2 picks earlier. Whitney Oswego in Austin, Texas at plus 120. And then in Merida, in Mexico, going with Emiliana Arango, plus 290 versus Anastasia Potapova. So, Oswego in Austin, Arango in Merida, Mexico, where I hope everything's okay everywhere for all this. I saw Brett Haber from the Tennis Channel yesterday was like calling for the tours to get everybody out of both tournaments and have Larry Ellison fly him early to Indian Wells. I don't know why I was doing a Parles thing with my arm right there.
Things I should not be laughing at.
but
I wouldn't even picked up on it if you didn't say it.
But it's one of those things also where it's like, we here in this country, we just assume there's danger everywhere. There might not be. So hopefully everything's okay. Maybe, but if there's a 1% chance, I get it, right? Right. Mike Zill's Duke 90. Read the story of the Hughes kid's mom. She's a first chapter leaflet. Yes, Jack and Quinn Hughes's, and by the way, Luke Hughes's mother, Ellen Weinberg Hughes. She was a hockey player herself and a good one. And her kids are the toast of America. What a great post-game interview Jack Hughes gave also. I love my country, love the USA. It was just awesome. Larry Fresh, welcome back. Thank you for talking about Tankapalooza. What a time for betting back then. Oh, it was amazing. Bullet Godfrey, well, after watching the Nets finish yesterday, they're 99% trustworthy. We'll have to get to the Brooklyn Nets momentarily. Michael Burns, welcome back. You need to work with Chrissy Andrews on that Greek accent. Well, this was a Giannis accent. It's not the, Bubush. We need to go to, in Mykonos and that kind of Greek accent. This is the Giannis specific one, which I have to definitely work on. Absolutely.
Which then you need to, keep saying how you love the city of Milwaukee.
That's right.
Always wanted to be a Milwaukee Buck. My family loves Milwaukee. I've never requested a trade. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Hey, agent. I don't know about this.
That's right. They were still in the same Giannis place we were 2 weeks ago.
It's incredible.
All right, so we just did the not trustworthy at all teams in NBA tanking. Pelicans, Hornets, Bucks. Don't trust them at all. Again, this is all for the purpose of I want to bet, and bet one yesterday, by the way, to success, a 3-team brain-dead parlay against these teams.
Nice. I've been adding them like money lines along the way with other stuff that I like. Yep. It's pretty good for the most part.
Pretty good for the most part. And you're going to listen, when we did it in 2018, we only lost one night when Dennis Schrader, I think it was, he was still playing then, went off one night. I was like, you didn't get the memo, Schrader. You're not supposed to score 41.
Schroeder on his 17th team.
Schroeder,
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, yeah.
The other way, there is the warning stories, right? Like the Jazz getting fined, right? And the Jazz the owner respond correctly so. You're going to fine me? I just won.
They just won.
They accidentally won that game. It's going to happen.
We'll talk about that. Yesterday's brain dead parlay, by the way, was the Hawks, the Hornets, and the Knicks. There is nothing tonight because there's only 2 games that involve tanking teams, and one of the games is 2 tanking teams against each other, so we're not playing it.
Did you catch the Hawks? That's ending?
Oh, we're going to get to that.
It's incredible.
We're going to get to that. All right, next category. So not trustworthy at all, Pelicans, Hornets, Bucks. Next category, somewhat trustworthy, Kelly. Pacers and Wizards. Now, the Pacers, a lot of folks, 15-43, by the way. They're terrible at basketball this year. This is sort of the year, Tyrese Halliburton with the Achilles in Game 7. You kind of knew this was going to be that year. Obviously, personnel moves as well for the Pacers.
The gap year.
Well, the gap year. Why are they somewhat trustworthy? Well, first of all, they've lost 7 of their last 9. It seems like they would be trustworthy, except for a couple things. One, they traded for Zubats. And if their pick doesn't end up 1 through 4, if it ends up 5 through 9, they convey it to the Clippers because of the Zubats trade. So they got to lose pretty strongly to affect the ping pong ball percentage in a way that could try as best as they can to weigh it in their favor. But there's no guarantees with any of the ping pong ball stuff. So I'm saying, boy, the Pacers, that was a curious trade to not have 5 through 9 come to them. The other thing about this is what you just alluded to, which is, and I can't remember if it was on air or off air, but Adam Silver, right, fining the Jazz $500,000 and the Pacers $100,000. Mm-hmm. So the Pacers have already been fined, so the Pacers are on notice. So the Pacers can't go out there willy-nilly and lose every night now that they've already been fined. Or can they? right? So that's the only reason why I can't trust them fully.
You used the word earlier, Gil. Overtly versus covertly, right?
Yeah.
You can't do anything overt. Or you could, but you might have to be fined a lot. Also heard from the Hoop Collective pod this week, a front office member told Brian Windhorst that the first pick is worth $100 million this year. So they don't care. These teams don't care about getting fined.
Pacers accused of violating NBA's player participation policy in connection to its game versus the Jazz February 3rd. The NBA investigation that included a review by an independent doctor found that star Pascal Siakam and 2 other starters, all of whom were held out, could have played under policy's medical standard.
I think it's completely fair to have him in this category, Gil. I would say this is a complete failure of a season all the way around, Indiana. If you chose at the beginning of the year to punt on the year, make this that kind of gap rebuilding year, trade for Zubac, and then you don't finish in this top 4.
That would be brutal. Wizards, by the way, somewhat trustworthy. Why? Because they're 6-6 in their last 12, Kelly. You know how to do this, Wizards?
No, they don't.
Now, 3 of those were against other tanking teams. I get it. 2 wins versus the aforementioned Pacers, 1 versus the Kings. But 6-6 in your last 12, you can't be fully trustworthy when you're doing that. They were 10-34. Now they're 16-40.
Yeah.
Now, here are 2 teams that are trustworthy, though not against other tanking teams, as we just alluded to with the Wizards. But the Wizards just beating teams that aren't even tanking.
I mean, Gil, I want to say they're doing it right by shelving, Trae Young, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
You're not going to see those guys, but you're right.
Stop winning games. Trustworthy, though not against other tanking teams, the Grizzlies and the Nets. Now, the Grizzlies are 21-34. The Grizzlies, you might say, could be fully trustworthy, except the issue with the Grizz is the Grizzlies have so many picks coming up in future years, and I know we just said future years aren't supposed to be as good draft-wise in terms of the personnel that's coming out, but the Grizzlies, as much as any of these teams, they are going to have picks galore in years coming up. So it's the one kind of little note about the Grizzlies that doesn't make me fully trust them in terms of a loss here and there. Although, again, fully Jaren Jackson Jr. gone, Desmond Bane early, before the season started, gone. So they clearly want to, but, they beat Utah, they beat Sacramento. So there are teams that when they play other tanking teams, I don't want any part of them.
I think that's a good way to put them, because they have some good young players that they're going to roll out this year too. That I think against some of the other tanking teams gives them a bit of an advantage still.
The Nets, trustworthy though not against other tanking teams. Listen, the Brooklyn Nets have lost 22 of their last 27, but they won 5 of those. Right? They beat Washington, they beat Utah, they beat Chicago twice. So, again, they're a team you can trust, although not against other tanking teams. Yesterday was just hilarity. Do you see this against the Hawks?
Oh, yeah.
The Pacers, the Hawks yesterday, the Hawks were up, 11? What was it?
Well, they were down.
No, the Hawks were down 11. With 8 minutes remaining, the Hawks were down 11. 8 minutes left. They end up winning by 11. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I mean, the Nets' excuse is hey, this is just a purely bad roster. They're a bad roster. They probably had the worst roster in the NBA entering the season. We heard Joe Tsai say it in the offseason. We're really young. You could probably see what we're going to do this season. They've been saying they were going to tank since the offseason.
Here are the 4 teams, Kelly, that I find extremely trustworthy in Tankathon 2026. 1, the Chicago Bulls. And you may say to yourself, but they're 24-34. That's bad, but it's not horrifically bad. Okay, they've lost their last 9 in a row. They've lost 12 of their last 13. And, Kelly, if there was ever a team that the NBA, if you said to Adam Silver, which is the team among these teams that you actually wouldn't mind seeing sucking all the way through, he'd say the Bulls. Because the Bulls have the 5th worst record in the NBA over, the last, since 2000. I'll get the year right.
Whatever. At least seeing them lose consistent games is good because this team's lived in the play-in tournament.
5th worst cumulative record since the start of the 2017-2018 season. And yet, they haven't had a top 3 pick since Derrick Rose at number 1 in 2008. Mm-hmm. And they got rid of Vucevic and Dosunmu and Kobe White. I completely trust them. Again, they've lost 9 in a row, 12 of their last 13. Sacramento Kings. Kelly, I don't know if they're tanky or they just stink at basketball.
Both.
But they lost their last 16 in a row. Now, eventually, DeMar DeRozan or Russell Westbrook is going to have a game and they're going to win one, but I completely trust them.
Yeah.
They lose to other tanking teams.
I don't think those vets are practicing very hard right now.
The Mavs, who just broke their 10-game losing streak yesterday, the Mavs I completely trust as well. They've lost 10 of their last 11. And the thing with the Mavs is they don't control their pick till 2031 after this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they are completely incentivized to go for it again this year, even though they got lucky with Cooper Flagg. And then, of course, King Tankers, the Utah Jazz, who have been fined $500,000. And you know what they said to that $500,000 fine on Friday night? They're like, watch this. And they sat they sat, what was it? How many players was it in the end? It was like just a bevy of players. And then Markkanen, right before the game, they're like, he's sick. He's going to sit out.